Hi there, this is Data, and welcome to the Wrestling Time Post Show. It is Friday, November 8th, 2024, and tonight I'll be talking about Friday Night SmackDown. Alright, so tonight's SmackDown was a fallout from Crown Jewel. And I have to say, a couple of things happened. Now, let's talk about this Undisputed Tribal Chief Acknowledgement ceremony. So, Solo's Bloodline came out, and Roman Reigns interrupted them. Now, Solo has been wanting Roman Reigns to acknowledge him as a tribal chief. And of course, Roman Reigns did not acknowledge Solo. He said that he will never acknowledge Solo. And he challenged him to a one-on-one match to be declared, who's going to be tribal chief. Now, the interesting thing here is that Solo challenges Roman to a war and tells him to find 4 other guys. Which leads me to think, is this your Survivor Series going to be 5 versus 5 instead of 4 versus 4? Now, Solo reveals that Sami Zayn is the 5th member of his team. Of course, Sami Zayn comes out and the Bloodline attacks Roman. The Usos come to help Roman. And Sami's just there on the ramp, kind of just watching this unfold. But he ends up entering the ring and he gives Solo Sikoa a Helluva kick. And then Roman spears Solo. And then the final image is tonight's SmackDown is the original Bloodline reuniting. So we do have all 4 of them together. Now, like I said, Solo said 5 on 5. So who would be the 5th members of each team if that's the case? I was thinking maybe Cody joins the original Bloodline. And maybe The Rock joins Solo's Bloodline. That's the only way. That's the way I see it. If not, it would just be 4 versus 4. Now, with Sami Zayn rejoining the Bloodline, Kevin Owens is just gonna get pushed over the edge here because he already thinks Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes betrayed him. Now, just add Sami Zayn to the mix. Remember, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens teamed up, and they took the tag titles off of the Usos at WrestleMania 39, which I was there for. So it's definitely, this is definitely the War Games match. We all knew this was going to be the War Games match. We knew it was going to be the original Bloodline versus Solo Sikoa's Bloodline since WrestleMania. We knew this is where this was going. But now the question is it going to be 5 versus 5 or 4 versus 4? I guess we will find out within the next coming weeks. Now, at the beginning of tonight's SmackDown, yes, SmackDown opens with the original Bloodline. The Bloodline, Roman and Jimmy go out there separately from Jay. And Jay pretty much brings out Sami Zayn. Now, this whole thing, Sami Zayn starts talking about how it felt good being out there, just the 4 of them. And he wants Roman Reigns to apologize. Now, Roman thinks he means to apologize to him, but in reality, he means to apologize to Jay. Now, of course, in typical Roman Reigns fashion, he says he's sorry. Sorry that Jay wasted his time with Sami Zayn. And Jacob Fatu appears on the Titantron and tells him that Solo will come out to the ring on his own time. And basically, you see that old Roman Reigns, the one that wants to give directions, because he basically tells Jay to take his ass to go find Sami Zayn. And now Jay doesn't like this because remember, he warned Roman not to boss him around. And he tells Jimmy to go find his brother. So, interesting dynamic here. It seems like the beginning seemed like they weren't getting on the same page, but the ending definitely seemed like they were on the same page. Like I said, I am very curious to see how this plays out in the next couple of weeks and who are going to be the 5th members. So, Nick Aldis also announced that a new title. So he talks about how the women of WWE have broken a lot of obstacles and they have a world class of athletes. And he introduces the Women's United States title Here it is. What do you guys think of the title? Personally, I don't like it because it's literally just the male US title, but in white. Like, I literally don't like it. It's like the world titles. The men's world titles are black and the women's are white. So it's just like that. Not a huge fan of this. Now, Michael Cole on commentary did say the women on both rosters can challenge for this. Yeah, look how that worked out nicely for the women's tag titles. We'll see how this goes. If I had to pick someone to be the inaugural champion, I would choose Chelsea Green. I think Chelsea Green has done one hell of a job with her character. She maximizes all her screen time. I mean, she knocked it out of the park as a women's tag team champion. Just imagine her as the inaugural US champion. I think she would be a fantastic choice for inaugural women's US champion. Well, we didn't get any more information. We don't know if it's going to be a tournament, how this is going to be decided, but I feel like, I personally think the inaugural champion will probably be crowned at Survivor Series, and it makes the most sense for it to be Chelsea Green because Survivor Series is in Toronto. Sure, she's from Vancouver, British Columbia, but she's still Canadian. I think it would be great, her or Natty, since they'll be in Canada. But what do you guys think of the U.S. title announcement? Let me know in the live chat or in the comment section down below. So you get Bayley versus Candice LeRae, and this is an okay match. Like, Bayley and Candice have history, like, as they were mentioning on commentary. Like, even Bayley says that she knew, like, Candice fixed an injury during this, and like Bayley totally saw this coming because she was able to counter it. She wins. We get a DIY Motor City Machine Gun segment. So like Motor City Machine Guns are like working out. And Johnny Gargano, like, you guys remember, like, Motor City Machine Guns won the tag titles recently. They took the titles off the Bloodline. And Johnny Gargano basically just congratulates them, and Chris Sabin tells him he definitely wouldn't mind stepping in the ring again with DIY. I personally wouldn't mind seeing a rematch. Like, that match was incredible. Now, Ciampa approaches him, and he seems really pissed off because he says that since Motor City Machine Guns got there, they took their spot, their titles, the titles they were screwed out of, and never got a rematch for, which is true. They never got their rematch. And I felt so bad for DIY because they were only tag team champions for like 28 days. And he says they're going to make an example of Pretty Deadly and we're warned Motor City Machine Guns that they're going to get their titles back. So it seems like Tommaso Ciampa is starting to turn heel here. The question is, are we going to see a repeat of NXT? Is Tommaso Ciampa going to turn on Johnny Gargano, or is DIY entirely going to turn heel? Now, if you guys didn't watch NXT Black and Gold, DIY were a tag team until the day Tommaso Ciampa turned on Johnny Gargano. So when are we going to see that here on the main roster? All right, so we get a Randy Orton segment, and he's basically calling out Kevin Owens. Now, this escalates because Kevin Owens, like, he hits a pile driver to Randy Orton, and like, and commentary is like talking about how this is why pile drivers are banned. They even show the replay of the footage, and like commentary is just like, why is this replay being shown? Like, they put Randy Orton on a freaking neck brace and had to put him on a stretcher and wheeled him out of there. And like Cody even came out to check on Randy. Like, KO just like snapped. And like, I'm telling you, with Sami Zayn joining the Bloodline, it's gonna go even it's gonna snap even more. So, and he just, like, Kevin Owens basically just walked away from this like nothing happened. We have Pretty Deadly versus DIY, which really wasn't much of a match. Like Tommaso Ciampa mentioned earlier, they were gonna make examples of DIY of Pretty Deadly, and they did. Like, Tommaso Ciampa single-handedly beat up Kip Wilson and Alton Prince. Like, this was a really short match. Like, I feel like, I'm telling you, like, I think Tommaso Ciampa is gonna turn heel here. I think he is. I think he's gonna get frustrated to the point where he just turns on Johnny Gargano. So we get Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair versus Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax. Now, Candice LeRae gets involved in this match and she pushes Bianca off the ropes. Now, Tiffany tells Candice she doesn't need her help, but this allows Naomi to come down to the ring and for Bianca to hit the KOD to Tiffany. So obviously, now I'm sure Nia Jax is not going to be too happy with Tiffy time. Like I said, This is probably leading to Tiffany cashing in on Nia Jax. That's definitely what this is leading to. Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair win. Now I want to know when Jade and Bianca are going to split up. I think that's going to be the WrestleMania match. I think it's going to be Jade Cargill versus Bianca Belair. And I think the split is going to include the women's tag titles. I think once they drop those tag titles, I think that's when they're going to split. All right. Last but certainly not least, we got A-Town Down Under versus the Motor City Machine Guns. This is a good, decent match. This was actually a pretty good match. I like it. They in an WWE exclusive, the Grayson Waller effect with the Motor City Machine Guns was canceled, so we got this match instead. And of course, Motor City Machine Guns win after they hit the skull and bones to Grayson Waller. Now, I'm still wondering, like, if they're gonna, the women's tag titles need to be retired after they introduce the women's titles. It's not that they need to be retired. They just gotta find a way to book everything. Like, they just gotta find a way to book everything. Like, have the women's tag team titles, have the women's US title. You know, they just, once they find a way to book everything, it'll be just fine. But if they can't, yeah, you know, that's the issue. Now, they were teasing an A-Town Down Under split, but that didn't happen. So I wonder if that's still in the cards or if they're just going to stay as a tag team. But anywho, at the end of this match, like in the back, a DIY, approached Motor City Machine Guns and asked about their tag titles, but it turns out the Street Profits are getting a title opportunity next week. And DIY, mostly Tommaso Ciampa, is pretty pissed about this. More so than Johnny Gargano. And like I said earlier, I think Tommaso Ciampa's going to get pissed to the point where he's just going to get sick of Gargano and just turn on him. Because, Johnny Gargano is just like, being cool about this and doesn't really seem that upset that Motor City Machine Guns took their tag titles, took their spot. Ciampa will be turning heel and we will see Ciampa versus Gargano. Yeah, I mentioned that. I mentioned how it's probably going to be a repeat of the NXT storyline with DIY. Yeah, I definitely think that's going to happen. But overall, I thought it was an okay, it was pretty okay SmackDown. I really like the stuff with the Bloodline. I like the stuff that they're doing with Tommaso Ciampa. I really like that Kevin Owens and Randy Orton segment. And Bayley versus Candice was pretty decent. So let's go from a 1 to Sean Spears' perfect 10. I agree. This is a 7 out of 10. It was a pretty decent show. Yeah. There was a lot of good stuff, some okay stuff, but decent show overall. We've had bad SmackDowns and good SmackDowns, and this was one of them. Alrighty, so thank you guys all so much for watching, and for continued support, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a new video, and I will see you guys Monday after Raw. Bye.